My name is Diana Rader-Zisselman. I am a team elite with Nu Skin and a Circle of Excellence, and I've been with Nu Skin 13 years. My background is in healthcare, pharmaceuticals, and I have a master's degree in psychology. And the thing that really sold me on Nu Skin was the science behind the products. And today I want to thank Martha Sanchez for translating for us. Martha is a diamond director in the business. She's a retired IT engineer. She was a fire chief. She's a singer. She's been with Nu Skin for 19 years and has been full-time with Nu Skin since January of 2024. She has 2 children, 2 granddaughters. She's a Nourish the Children ambassador and a 6-time Success Trip earner. And the reason we're all here today is to hear some science. So I am very excited to get to introduce our Vice President of Global Research and Development for Nu Skin. She oversees the development of both the personal care products and the skincare and supplementation. Dr. Helen Knaggs is currently Vice Chair of the Committee on Scientific Affairs for the Society of Cosmetic Chemists. Helen Knaggs has 40 years of experience, which you'll see her in. How could she possibly have 40 years of experience in anything? But she has 40 years of experience in skincare science, research, and product development. She's got numerous publications and patents. She spent several years as a research biochemist in the dermatology department of Leeds General. She has her MBA from the University of Warwick. She's got her PhD, her doctorate of science in biochemistry and molecular biology from the University of Leeds in London, or in the UK. She also has a BA in biochemistry and a BS in pharmacology with honors. She's currently the vice chair of the Committee on Scientific Affairs for the Society, I mentioned that, of Society of Cosmetic Chemists. And in 2013, she was honored as one of the 30 women to watch in Utah business. She was recently, and this is a really big accolade for those of you who know, she was recently invited as a speaker to the prestigious Anti-Aging and Longevity Conference in London. Great accolade. And she did an amazing job there, I have no doubt, because she's a great speaker. And one of the great things about Helen is outside of Nu Skin, she's also very passionate about advancing women in science and helping women to have equality. So she is a co-lead of A Bolder Way Forward, which provides mentoring and awareness in the corporate world, helping create equal opportunities for girls and women in science. And this program has been so successful in Utah that many other states are looking at it. So without further ado, I would love to invite you, Dr. Knaggs, to share with us about the new retinol peptide product and the research behind it and why you're excited about it. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Helen Knaggs.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you so much. I am just having, let me just go. I've frozen my screen. With that bio, I have managed to freeze my screen. Let's just go back and see. Hang on 1 minute. I was trying to get to the next slide and it doesn't want to move. So let's go back to share. All right, so we can see the slides. Let me put them in presentation mode again, and we hope that it moves this time. Yes, moving. All right, so I am excited today to talk to you about the science of skincare. And one of the reasons why I love the subject that we're talking about today, which is retinols, and we're talking about peptides, is because when I started my career almost 40 years ago, I was actually working with some of the retinol compounds that were being used in clinical practice at the time for acne. And it's so exciting to see how the science has evolved in the 40 years that I've been in this area, and just how much more we understand these retinols and the benefits that they bring. They deliver a whole host of benefits, apart from being a really important therapy in some of the skin diseases like acne. And we're very fortunate to have learned and be able to learn from dermatological practices and now use sort of similar related compounds to give us benefits for our skin. And so when I was first starting out, there was interest in retinoids. It's a class of compounds because they appeared to be providing a youthful appearance. So as I mentioned, these compounds were being used to treat acne. And at the time, there were a lot of women who were suffering from adult acne, the professional women in their 20s, in their 30s, and their appearance was so important for their professional lives. They wanted to look good and project that, positive outward, confidence in their appearance. And so they were being given retinols for acne, and at the same time, they were noticing that their appearance improved. And one of the dermatologists, very famous dermatologist, Professor Albert Kligman, who was working in this area, really noticed this and said, oh my goodness, let's look at this and see if these compounds are actually providing benefit. And in fact, the observation was absolutely correct. And at the time, it was believed that retinoids were going to be our fountain of youth. And today, even today, all this time later, the retinols in skincare are really one of the gold standards to provide anti-aging benefits for our appearance, right? And they do a lot of great things, important things, if we're looking at skin aging. As we age, we see that our appearance can become wrinkled, we get these fine lines appearing, we get sagging, the skin tone of the skin changes, so we get pigment spots, and retinoids do everything to reverse all of that beautifully. So they help with cell renewal, they reduce the facial hyperpigmentation, and they also do some nice benefits for our deeper layers of skin, such as they are able to boost the production of collagen, which is a key protein that helps keep our skin firm. And they also increase these things called GAGs, ground substances that are part of our skin as well, that support our skin structure. So retinoids have held this really special place as an ingredient in skincare because they provide these fantastic anti-aging benefits, and they're in many skincare products today. And we've become smarter about how we use these compounds. And you see here, there's a lot of the retinoids or retinols. They're a class of compounds, and we even get a form of these compounds in our diet. So if you look right at the side of this chart, it says on the side in the middle, there's a word called beta carotene with a little arrow. So beta carotenes are what we get from carrots, right? They're those orange compounds. And so we can eat these retinols, we get them in our diet. Once they get into the body, we have a whole series of conversion steps that happen. And that's what we see here with these arrows. And so these compounds are converted into retinaldehyde. They can be converted into vitamin A, retinol. They can be converted into retinol palmitate. So I've described the pathways going up this slide. And retinol palmitate is also a compound that was very popular, being used in the late 90s and 2000s in skincare products, the retinol esters. The issue with this compound is that it needs to be converted in all the way down. If you follow the arrows down, it needs to be converted all the way down to these, what we call the acid type compounds, because those are the ones with the real activity. And so, as we get further away from these compounds at the bottom of the screen, the retinoic acids, we tend to see lower activity. So the business compounds are down at the bottom. They're the acids. They're the things that drive the cell to jump into action and get going and do all those beautiful anti-aging benefits. And then we can add various we can add the compounds at various stages in this conversion. The more conversion that is needed, the lower the activity of the compound, if that, hopefully that makes sense. So retinoids is a big group of ingredients, and they get converted in the skin into the most active form, and then we are ready to go, and we are experiencing those great benefits. The problem with retinoids, and we were aware of this when we were using them for acne treatment, is that they have a little bit of, they're a bit troublesome. They're like the troublesome children. You love them, they're so smart, but they're really troublesome. Because retinoids, they're very delicate. They get degraded by light. That means that if you get your skincare cream and you expose it to a whole load of light and then you look at it, you probably don't have any retinol left there because it's just being destroyed by the light. Because as soon as it gets destroyed, you lose the efficacy, and then the formula itself can change a bit. You lose the nice appearance of the formula, and you're getting a poor user experience. The other piece that comes along with these troublesome ingredients are that they can be a little bit drying for the skin, and depending on your skin type, they can actually also cause they can cause irritation, they can cause burning in some individuals. You can get really uncomfortable discomfort. And I will tell you, in my 20s, when I was doing skincare and learning about these wonderful anti-aging benefits from retinoid, I went and I got some of the acne cream, the anti-acne cream that we were using from the clinic, and I put it on my skin. And I was literally able to peel my skin off in one piece because they were so strong at the time. And it was just the reaction of the skin. However, today, the good news is today, that was a long, long time ago, long, long in the past. Today, we have got a lot smarter, and we have created versions of the compounds that overcome a lot of these problems. So we've managed to adjust, modify these beautiful class of compounds just a little bit to preserve the benefits, but reduce some of the problems that we have with them. So we're able now to use these more modern retinoid compounds in our skincare. There are still people that get some issues from using the retinoids, and that's where in a standard skincare system, we also include some ingredients to offset any potential problems from the retinoids that we're using. And that's where we come in with this compound called 4-TB. TB, I'm going to say to be protected. TB stands for to be protected. TB stands for a long chemical name, but no worries. In my mind, it stands for to be protected from retinoids. Because what 4-TB can do is offset some of the retinol discomfort, and we showed this beautifully in this experiment here, where you see in the graph, you have an individual, you have subjects, 22 subjects applied a retinol system, and over the retinol system, if we look at this, we have the gray bar, which is the retinol, 1% retinol. And then we have the blue bar, which is 1% retinol with our 2B protected blend, 3% of 4-TB blend. And you can see that the gray bar, if you look on the side, that's the level of discomfort. So when you apply 1% retinol, after 30 seconds, the subjects are reporting a certain degree of discomfort. It increases at 2.5 minutes, at 5 minutes, even greater discomfort. And from 1% retinol alone at 10 minutes, it's beginning to subside, but it is substantial. And discomfort would be uncomfortable sensations of the skin, like itching, stinging, warmth from retinol, etc. Just mild discomfort. If you add in our T2B protected blend with 1% retinol, you've really offset those issues that subjects are self-reporting they're experiencing to quite a nice extent here. So that's where we are. We can use retinoids. We have really modern compounds that overcome a lot of the problems of the earlier generations of retinoids. They are the gold standard for improving fine lines and wrinkles, and we have clever ways that we can add ingredients that offset some of the retinol discomfort. Okay, well, we could draw a line there, but actually, what we then did, we had been looking at the area of peptides. Peptides are a nice skin, they're another class of skincare ingredients. And these have become popular sort of in the last 30 years. And peptides are interesting because they are small components of proteins. So if you can imagine, I'll tell you, proteins tend to be thought of as structural compounds. So if you can imagine a whole Lego construction, right? It could be, you can make all sorts of things out of Lego today. You can make cars, Eiffel Towers, forts, whatever you like. That's the construction, and that would be your big old protein, right? The whole thing. And a peptide is one of the little Lego bricks in that construction. That is a peptide, a very small part of the whole big construction. And for a long time in biology, we kind of looked at proteins as being structural, really important for us. But then we started to realize that the components of the proteins, these peptides, are doing more than participating or contributing towards a structure. They're really important messengers or signaling compounds that actually tell the cell, so it tells our biology to go and do something. So, for example, if I'm, looking at my team and we need to make a product, I go and tell the people in the lab to make a product. So in our biology, you have our cell sitting there. If the cell needs to do something, it will make a peptide, and the peptide will go and tell something in the cell to do whatever it needs to do. And we were working with a company, a partner, who were identifying peptides, and they came across this little interesting one here. This is the structure of it, and it's comprised of 16 amino acids. And I think it looks quite pretty here. But let me tell you a little bit more about why it's so important. We called it retinol boosting. That's the key. And I'll skip that. When we are identifying ingredients, this is the traditional way of ingredient identification. So this is how we came across this peptide. When we're looking for ingredients, we can take what we know from our experiments. We can review libraries of ingredients, and we can also look at scientific literature, patents, databases, public knowledge. That's how we identified retinoids as being a skincare anti-aging ingredient. We looked at what was happening. We looked at scientific literature. Dermatologists were seeing what these ingredients were doing in real practice. And by serendipity, if you will, they identified retinoids. This process is quite slow. And I use the word serendipity because that means by chance, right? That means that discovery is happening by chance. And a lot of science, a lot of major scientific breakthroughs are done by chance. And today, what the modern technology is allowing us to do today is, because we have huge computational abilities, we can program computers so that we can speed up the discovery, so it's more planned and it's happening less by serendipity. And that is the use of artificial intelligence. So the peptide I showed you earlier was identified by using a computational artificial intelligent machine learning who was identifying actives. So the engine, if you like, the platform is in the middle. It's in this box here, the box. It's called an artificial intelligence discovery platform, and it is able to search and look through and sort and curate huge amounts of data. So it's taken over 6 years of experimental data looking at the results of what peptides do in the lab, and also when they're used in clinical practice or in skincare. It looked at libraries of natural peptides in the world. So it looked at food sources that contain natural peptides. And it also looked at scientific databases. And that is how, if we just plot back, that is how we discovered this little peptide, this oligopeptide. So we searched through, we had an engine, artificial intelligence, and it's constantly learning as it keeps thinking, as it keeps searching. We feed back into this database, it becomes smarter and smarter. And we asked this engine to identify a skincare ingredient, and it came back with this one. This one was identified from pea, the common garden pea. And we asked the engine, this AI platform, to identify a skincare ingredient that would help reverse some of the changes you see in this in these two diagrams here. So you see on one side youthful skin, you see on the other side aged skin. And I think you can see some of the differences there that produce fine lines and wrinkles. So in youthful skin, you have that firm, well-packed dermis, so that layer in the middle with the balls and the wires. So you've got elasticity in there, you've got packing in there, it's firm, got good structure. And as you get older, you know, with the exposures that your skin is dealing with, you lose the structure and you get the formation of fine lines and wrinkles, you get sagging, your skin is less firm, you've got less elasticity. So we said to this machine learning engine, give us an ingredient that solves this problem, that helps to maintain skin firmness and you know, enable us to make an impact and provide benefits for aging skin. And so we got our little peptide, and we then went ahead and we validated the peptide in vitro, and I'm about to present some of that work. And we also did some human clinical studies. So this is, once we had identified this peptide, this was the experiment that we ran. And this is done in a laboratory. So what we're looking at in the little pictures here is model skin. So the top of the picture is the top of the skin, and the bottom of the picture will be as you get deeper into the skin. And we ran this first experiment with this new peptide that we had identified, that we wanted to target the extracellular matrix. And in fact, we were really, really happy with the results because we saw an increase in collagen expression. So collagen is that packing protein in the skin, an increase in elastin expression, and an increase in fibrillin expression. So in each case, we had, the skin was being told to, you know, get itself going and produce these great important components of the skin that helps maintain youthful skin: collagen, elastin, and fibrillin. So we're really excited by this result. And also we found that this peptide was really good at helping to reduce inflammation. So it's got some nice activity here. So inflammation is what lies behind the redness and the irritation of your skin, the tingling, the stinging sensations that you get with retinols. So we've found this peptide that not only is able to improve and improve the appearance of skin and maintain skin youthfulness, but we're also now seeing that this little ingredient is able to reduce some of the stinging, the discomfort, the irritation of skin. And so we then said, okay, so that's quite interesting. You know, and we were seeing the results in experiments, and I said, okay, so it's interesting, but you know, we have a lot of great ingredients already for skin anti-aging benefits. We've got retinoids, and so why would I be interested in this? And it wasn't until I saw this data here that I thought we had something really special with this peptide, because this is the first, like this to me, the improvements in the appearance that we see here, I had never seen happen this fast with a retinoid compound. And so when I saw this, I was like, what, you know, can this compound really achieve these results? And let me just tell you the things that made me take is this for real look at this. So on the top panel, you have individuals at the start of the study. The bottom panel, you have individuals that have been using the peptide only for 4 weeks. And my favorite one is 2 in around the eye, and you can just compare the top panel with the bottom panel, and over on the other side, the top panel with the bottom panel. And I mean, that is incredible reduction of fine lines and wrinkles in the eye area. I had never seen anything like this from just using a skincare product containing retinol within 4 weeks. So we had this, and I thought, you know, wow. We also had our retinol compound that we'd been working on. And so we thought, what happens if we put these two together? Because we know that this peptide also helps us reduce inflammation. And I am going to just go to this slide here, because we then started to take our little peptide that we had found through AI machine learning, which is found in the garden pea. So it's a peptide found in peas. And we took it with our product containing retinol and 4-TB, and we put the two together. And this is what we saw. So here we see on the left panel retinol alone, three little pictures going down the screen. And then on the other side, we have the combination of the oligopeptide and retinol. And the one that I like the most is the bottom one, where we see collagen increased 4 times by adding in the oligopeptide. This is taking, so like to me, throughout my career, the retinoids have been the end all, the be all, the gold standard, the fountain of youth. And what we have done here with this peptide is boost up the benefit in just an incredible way, 4 times here with this production of collagen. And we continued to see those remarkable results as we went into our clinical testing with the combination of these two ingredients together. And we also found that including this peptide helped us unlock the ability to get the retinol benefits, even better retinol benefits, without getting some of the irritations some of the discomfort that you get with retinols. So the two combined together give you even greater anti-aging benefits and with even lower or reduced skin discomfort, the potential for reduced skin discomfort. And I just want to end quickly because we spent a lot of time looking at gene expression, and this is a bonus, if you like, with our science, and what we also include in our blends for our product formulations. Because we have done quite a lot of work looking at identifying actives that can influence gene expression, and for our skin, we have identified specific genes that are really important in maintaining youthful skin appearance, and we have selected a group of ingredients now that we've been using for quite some time, and we also include in our anti-aging products. So with that, I will end there. So just in summary, I've talked about retinoids, the class of retinoid compound, why they're great for skincare. I've talked about our new discovery, our little oligopeptide friend that was identified using AI machine learning intelligence that we can use today, and ended up with a bit about our gene expression, which is where our technology has been over the last few years at Nu Skin. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And you've given us so much great information. I know there are people who may need to hop off at a half hour. Please feel free to do so. And I got a whole list of questions. People are so excited and curious about this product. So I'll go through as many as I can. I think we just went over what you're personally most excited about. What are you personally most excited about when it comes to this product?
You know, there's so many great things that we have seen in our testing, in our clinical tests. And I'm going to steal the screen back for a minute, because actually I can show you some of the results that we've got on the neck and the hands. And, you know, neck and hands are often areas that we forget about in when we study or when we think about classic anti-aging. But we included these areas in our clinicals. And let me just pull those up. I have them. I'll just show you the results we've got. So you can see the this result here. So this is our peptide retinol complex product, and looking at the benefits over 12 weeks for the neck area. And here, if we move to the next slide, there we go. This is the hand. So the hand, I think, is really stunning results. A lot better, an improvement in the skin texture on the hand and the overall skin tone, and sort of the color. The color is a lot evenness on the hand. So we saw some great results quickly as well. We're seeing benefits within one use, within 1 week, and then with continued use as well.
Those are amazing. As someone who did all kinds of damage in Southern California on the beach every day, my hands and neck, I'm always like, oh, so that's it. But I have to say that our liquid collagen has been a game changer with that too. So
well, and that's the supplement, right, Diana? Yes. I mean, you know, if you add those together, I think what's nice about the peptide retinol complex as well as a product is it doesn't need to take the place of anything you're doing. And it helps increase the benefits that you're getting from things you're already doing. So I know that many people love our Truface Essence Ultra product. And we've shown that you can double the benefits that you get if you use your peptide retinol complex with Truface Essence Ultra. In fact, we saw over 4 weeks, double the improvement in firmness when you use the two products, double the improvement in fine lines and wrinkles, and double the improvement in skin lift. And, you know, I keep saying it, but I think this peptide is just really special. You know, I honestly didn't believe what I was looking at, because I've seen a lot of clinical results, and you know that you see a little bit of improvement here and there, but this was strikingly fast results, and the peptide continues to perform in all sorts of situations that we put it in.
You bring up such a good point, because there's people like me who are, I would call myself an extreme new skin product user. So I use everything. So where would you put this in? So let's say someone's just like, I'm just starting this. And then someone like me who's like, I'm using everything. I'm alternating in with the 180. I'm using Truface Essence Ultra. Where do you put this? And how often do you recommend using it? And if someone uses it twice a day, I know this is not one question. If someone uses it twice a day, will it happen twice as fast? What are your thoughts on that?
You know, so interesting. And we've got a lot of people now in R&D all using peptide retinol. I mean, they've been using it for 6 months since we made the very first like batches in the lab. And we've had people use it to different extents, depending on how they know their skin is, but also depending on their personal preferences for their skincare regimen. So I've been using it in the evening before I use maybe TFEU. And then in the morning, because I love Future Serum. Ever since we formulated that product, I fell in love with it. It's got so many great actives in it that's become a real standard in sort of my skincare. So I've been using the peptide retinol in the evening and Future Serum in the morning, and then I put an SPF in the morning after it. I've been using our Daydream Protective Lotion, Nutricentials, and then I'm also taking, you mentioned the collagen supplement as well, so that's really, really key. There are people that use it in the morning and in the evening as well, and they haven't had any problems doing that. So we've got lots of people doing that regimen and not had any issue. You know, we tested this product on sensitive skin, didn't see anybody that had any problems, but I mean, I think we've really done a fantastic job at producing a product that contains these retinoid compounds without providing any of the unwanted, you know, irritation. But there's always going to be one person or a couple of people that have super sensitive skin, or maybe their hormones change at just the wrong time when they're applying the product, or something will happen and you might see some irritation. So, you know, I would say go use it as you want to use it. You will get benefits from using it in the evening. You'll get benefits from using it twice a day. I think you'll see more faster if you use it twice a day, but if you're someone that's concerned, then just use it once a day and you'll see the benefits.
And how important is it to use sunscreen with it if you're using it during the day?
Well, I mean, I think it's important to use sunscreen whatever you're doing. So, you know, even if you're inside, I've been using a sunscreen since I was in my 20s. And so I would always recommend that you do that. You know, I think it's fine if you're someone that's used peptide retinol complex and then you don't use a sunscreen, but I mean, I would just recommend you use one in the daytime all the time.
Yeah, as would I.
Yeah. And we've got some great ones now. You know, people have in the past not wanted to use sunscreens because of textures, because they're heavy or they're whitening, but there's some really nice formulations that are light and that will do the job well, you know, so I think you can always find one that suits your preference.
You know, that's actually one of the questions I had was that was sent in was, how do our sunscreens, and I know this is a huge other topic, but why would someone need to use one of our sunscreens over a different brand?
There's again with skincare, there's a lot of personal preference. I've been using the New Skin sunscreens because I know that they work. I've seen the data, I've seen the testing. I also know that there are companies out there that aren't as diligent with their testing. And not recently, this is going back a few years now, there was one lab in the industry that was kind of pulled up by the FDA because they were falsifying some of their sunscreen data. So, it's a case of making smart choices and going with people you trust. And I trust because I've seen the protocols and I've seen the results. And I know that the level of rigor that we apply at New Skin, and that's why I would always choose a New Skin sunscreen. Yeah.
Which relates to one of the other questions I got. They're hearing lots of questions about purity and percentage. What's the response if someone says, what percent of retinol is in this product and how pure is it?
So the industry is a funny thing because it likes to fight. There's like industry battles over buzzwords and over percentage levels. At the end of the day, I think it comes down to what's the benefit, because I know you can have a really high percentage of something and it don't do a darn thing, right? Or you can have a high percentage of something, and the problem is because it's so high, it's causing something you don't want to happen as well. So I'm always cautious about going down the path of comparison on levels. I think I think we focus more on what are the benefits and have we used sort of an optimal amount to provide the benefit. We don't want to use too high. It's a case of what is the phrase? More is not always better. I would say more is not always better. And when we decide levels of something, we do it intentionally to get a good benefit without any unwanted effects.
It's interesting when you were talking about years ago. I remember years ago I used Retin-A, and right before a wedding I had my eyebrows waxed. I have a permanent scar because they didn't ask, are you using Retin-A, which I didn't think to say. And my skin not only peeled, but I wasn't using Retin-A here, but because it had gotten to that part of my eye when I had my eyebrows, for the wedding I was in, I had little sores and I have a permanent brown spot here. So
and it's interesting because I always love to go to the American Academy of Dermatology meeting because over many years, you hit it, you had the Retin-A's. Retin-A is the answer. We all must use Retin-A, but oh my gosh, look at your face afterwards. It's all red. Or those, we have to use 30% glycolic acid peel. That was the standard of care 20, 30 years ago. And what I've seen is that, the recommendations have become, we don't need to do that extent of treatment because when you get that level of effect, it is harmful to your skin. It's not good. What we need to do, standard of care today, is more gentle improvements that build over time.
Thank you. Makes a lot of sense. Let's see. Oh, someone was asking about the 180 line, which I love to rotate into my regimen. I use the 180 cleanser as a mask during the shower. I'll just kind of put it on and leave it there. And is there any problem with using the 180 line with this product?
I don't think so. No, you could slot it in into that regimen. You use your 180 face wash, and then use peptide retinol complex. Afterwards, use a sunscreen. I think it would work just fine. Again, depending, and people know their own skin. If you're someone that you feel it might be sort of, I go easy initially and just sort of build up over time if you wanted to slot it into the 180. But these actives, so when I think about 180, it's got vitamin C, it's got the polyhydroxy acids. They're all doing slightly different things to provide their skincare benefits. And what I love about our knowledge today is that we're really understanding how we can stack different different actives and different ways of improving, or we can do different things that overall add up to create even greater benefits. It's not just about one thing, it's about adding all of these things together that work in different ways to provide sort of an amazing way that we can feel better and look better.
So would you, like, for example, I use the brightening serum. I also use the bakuchiol. Do I keep using those? Do I need them with this? I mean, I love them, so I'm going to keep using them, but is it overkill, or is it?
Again, they're working in different ways. So, and we're all able to see the benefits that we want from our skin. So I think it's fine to keep using them and see how your skin adjusts. The other interesting way of doing regimens that I find, I think there's some value in, is you use something for a period of time and then use something else for a period of time, and then go back to using something for a period of time, because your skin, there is a phenomenon where skin tends to become accustomed. And so if it's just like an exercise regimen. If you do the same exercise regimen, you're going to see the same benefits, and you don't change outside of those benefits. It's about chopping and changing it up so that you build. So if you're doing an exercise regimen, you might do your strength training, you might do yoga. So you're getting strength training with flexibility and stretching. And it's the same with skincare. I would recommend you can use different systems and use them interchangeably, because it keeps your skin sort of working and improving and providing the benefits that you want to see.
That's actually one of the things I love about Nu Skin, is because I do like to change things up and I like to add things, but I want to make sure, like you, I want to know that there's science behind it, that it's going to work. And I also want to know that it's got pure ingredients and that I'm not putting something that's detrimental to my health or my skin health on my skin. So it's funny when I talk to people who are not involved with Nu Skin, I'm like, one, I wouldn't take a supplement from another company. Two, I wouldn't put anything on my skin from another company, just because I don't know. I don't know their testing. I don't know their doctor, the scientists that work for them. I don't know how many they have. I don't know how many clinicals they've done. I don't know if what they say is in their product is actually in their product. I mean, you may remember probably when I first started Nu Skin, there was an article in the New York Times about lead in some very popular brand high-end department store brands of lipstick. And we would never expect that. You're like, well, it's a high-end brand. It can't possibly not have good ingredients, but I would be very cautious, because even if like, because Nu Skin creates and produces the products, we know the whole process and what's in them. And if you're outsourcing, you may have the best ingredients in the world or formula, but if you've got someone else making it, you can't be sure.
And I think one of the things that Nu Skin does really well is the transparency and this close relationship, because here we are having this discussion, and my team is making the product, we are testing the product, right? And here we are talking with you and your team, who are sort of users of the product. I mean, we're all using it, but you're really sort of the first hand, and we can have this relationship where you're giving us feedback, and you can also ask us face to face, what are the standards, how have you tested this? And we're happy to share our protocols and the work that we've done, and engage in discussions around that. So I think that's one of the real differences that you see with with retail brands where you're in a store and you're not talking to the people that have actually built that product, who haven't seen the data, who haven't designed the experiment that's tested that product. So that's one of the, I mean, transparency is so important. And the other thing that I would say is that there are no standards in this industry, unfortunately, in the personal care industry. And that's why you see so many different, companies decide their own standards. And so you'll see all the different standards at play in the products that we're putting on our skin. And so I would just, say to people, do make sure that you do trust the brands that you use. And New Skin is a brand where we are transparent and we share and we build that trust, and we're happy to engage in discussions around what we've done and our products.
And I definitely want to, once again, I go over time because I could listen to you all day. So I want to respect everyone's time and let them go. But I also want to mention that if someone does, I know Paige Riffle and her whole team, like there's a lot of us who work with skincare professionals and healthcare professionals. And if they have a specific question, we can always get an answer. They can reach out to product support. They can reach out to actually speak to a scientist if there's someone who is at that level that they need more details. And I think that's really special. I don't think that's not something you can do at a lot of companies. I think it's a really special partnership we have, and I really appreciate it. And I appreciate your time. And I also want to mention, Dr. Suzanne Lamott said, please direct people to the product information page, because she said that has some great information on it. So if you have remaining questions, please go to the website, pull up the product information page. It is exceptional. There's lots and lots of good information there. And if there was one final thought you had about this product, Dr. Knaggs, what would it be?
There's so many, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's not so much a fun. I would say to everybody, please try it, enjoy using the product, but also, New Skin as a company has got brands, really strong brands in skincare, but also supplements. And it's never just about putting stuff on your skin, but it's also about taking care of your inside out too. And we've got so many great supplements, nutraceuticals that will help benefit your skin and that will help benefit your overall health. So never just consider that we are sort of just our skin, but consider that we are really about providing you all with great products that will help you not just look great, but also feel great and live the lives that you want to live.
It's such a brilliant point. And I can tell you from doing lots and lots of biophotonic scans, I can tell by looking at someone's skin if they're healthy. So you can have, you can get rid of the blemishes and get rid of, reduce the wrinkles, but if you're not healthy, you're still going to look gray. And so thank you. That's a really, really good point. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time. I appreciate Martha and her translation, and Scott Van Pelt being our partner, always making these things happen for us. So Dr. Knaggs, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, likewise, Diana. Thank you. And thank you to Martha and everyone on the call for joining us and listening to me today. Thank you.
We'll see you soon. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.